of a depressed economy include declining business activities, restriction of credit, falling prices, rising unemployment, public fear and panic, and shrinking output and investments, and erratic relative currency and value fluctuations. These are things that we can all relate to on our day-to-day. The classic examples of depressed economies, some of us are definitely not old enough to remember this. The Great Depression of 1929, experienced by the USA, largely due to wrong monetary policies. Unemployment was 25%, and the salaries fell by 42%. The total US economy fell from 103 billion to 55 billion. By the 1930s, the global economy was shut down following the Great Depression. World economic output plummeted to 65% in dollars. Mid-2008, the economic downturn, GDP growth contracted by 1.7% in quarter 4 in 2008 and minus 0.2 in quarter 2 2009. It recovered by 0.4 from quarter 3 2009. Depressed and longest downturn since the Great Depression. So let's have a look at Nigeria. If you have a look, I stand corrected that the commodities are changing, but I think oil contributes between 70 and 80% of Nigeria's GDP. And if you have a look on this chart over here, on the far left, you have a look at the oil price versus the amount of money that Nigeria puts in its pocket. And there's a direct correlation between what happened to the oil prices versus how the gap has grown in the Nigerian economy, and that has a direct effect, okay, negative, okay? Domestic policy direction, fiscal and monetary policy directions, nature and timing of reform, and insecurity in the northeast. Economic depression will not last forever, but how it lasts will determine the quick identification of depression and immediate control measures put in place. What are we talking about? We're talking about diversification and innovation. And I followed basically every word. Okay, I can't obviously follow every word, but I'm following very closely what President Buhari is doing, because he's going to drive this economy. Okay? And what he's talking about is diversification. So we cannot be an economy or fiscal that relies on one commodity, because it's going to have a knock-on effect down the road. Businesses have the responsibility to survive the depressed economy they operate in. Some business survival tips are: reinvent your business, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. So we all know that. In marketing, when you assess whether you run your own business, there could be a lot of you here that run your own businesses, okay? So what do you identify with in life? How do you see where you are in the marketplace? By doing a quick SWOT analysis. Deep knowledge of your market and customers, innovation and differentiation, develop and pursue long corporate values and relationships, and cost optimization, and people development and motivation. So let's have a look at the Lafarge Wholesome experience. I'm not going to spend too much time on the overall strategy. Lafarge was founded in 1833. The strength of us is our ability to be diverse, our ability to be innovative. Because if you stagnate, if you stand in the same place, nothing is going to change. And remember, there's an old cliche that says, you cannot try the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. We're a major player in the cement, aggregates, and ready-mix business. Okay? We operate now with the merge in 90 countries. We have now 150,000 employees in the world. On April 17, 2014, the announcement was made about the merge of equals between Lafarge and Holcim. We have a well-balanced geographical portfolio. We're extremely strong in Africa, which is more relevant to this audience. What is our presence in Nigeria? Our presence in Nigeria, the old legacy firms. A lot of you knew, if not all of you, the old Lafarge WAPCO. You knew Unisem, which was down in Calabar. The plant down there was called Mfomaseng. Lafarge NIMechE was a relatively new business unit in Nigeria. Atlas Cement, which is in Port Harcourt, which is a grinding import port, and the Shaka Cement in Gumbe up in the north. So those are the companies now that create Lafarge Africa. Lafarge Holcim in Africa is a member of the Lafarge Holcim group. Our growing footprint across Nigeria, sorry it didn't change. There you go. That's just exactly what I've spoken about, what the footprint in Nigeria is. Our investment portfolio in Nigeria over recent times and in the future. If you look at the top right-hand corner, that's up in the northeast. We're looking at investing 120 billion naira, including a 74 megawatt coal power station up at Ashaka. The bottom left, in the southwest, we've got additional 4.5 metric tons, okay? Additional capacity under study. The right in the south expansion, down at our plant in Calabar, we had 2.5 million. We've invested 120 billion naira by adding an additional 2.5 million clinker line, including 45 megawatts of gas power. The thing that you can't see down there, okay, is that we've also invested in a road, in a concrete road down in Calabar. Our strategic levers. Health is our overriding factor in Nigeria. And it didn't take very long for collapsing buildings to be mentioned. Our very, very good astute MC, where's he? He's mentioned collapsing buildings. Okay. The ladies and gentlemen in this audience are going to have the ability to prevent that. And health and safety, because our people are our most valuable asset, should be at the top of our priority. A couple of our priorities. Sustainable development is part of Lafarge's DNA. So whatever you do today, make sure that you're making a decision that is going to impact your future. Is it an accurate decision? Is it a decision that is going to give you sustainability? And we spoke about it. The minister spoke about it earlier on. The importance of leaving an inheritance for our children's children cannot be underestimated. I'm running out of time, so I've got to go very quickly. We have a look at our markets. Remember our top importance of diversification and innovation. Lafarge Holcim in Nigeria, our markets are building, infrastructure, oil and gas. We look at residential, commercial and industrial, affordable housing and public buildings, transportation in bridges under infrastructure, the infrastructure portfolio. Both those portfolios are what I look after in Nigeria. Anything to do with infrastructure building falls under my portfolio with the exception of housing. Roads, energy and mines, cultural and sports centres and oil and gas. These are the industry people we engage with. Industrial customers, distributors, specifiers, builders. Specifiers are architects, engineers, people like yourselves, where we need to engage at a professional level, where we eventually, because effectively what should happen is the customer, who is your customer? Normally it would be the federal government. The federal government engages you, and you are the representation of the federal government. So it's important for us to understand your deliverables and your key deliverables in this type of projects. A couple of our brands that you might be aware of, I'm going to go through this very quickly. From a cement perspective, remember I said that we need to be innovative and you need to have a lot of diversity. We have cement that we produce for specific applications. That's the type of cement, it's called Superset. We produce for block makers. This is our 42.5 that we use in major infrastructure projects, dams, water retaining structures, etc. E-Tex is a special formulation. Remember, we had a customer that came to us and said, sir, we have this specification. We engaged with our customer, we understand their needs, we did a needs analysis, and we came up with a cement that we're producing for the E-Tex group. The E-Tex group are nigerite, emonite, and etonite. Okay, so we produce a specific cement for them. We have a road binder, which is for stabilizing, and we have sulfurcrete. What is sulfurcrete? Sulfurcrete is a sulfate-resistant cement that has a C3A of less than 3%. Okay, what does that do? We've tested it in environments as low as 0.5%, up as high as 5% in sodium magnesium sulfate solutions. It has high sulfate resisting qualities. The trick is to offer your client a solution. Okay, and the solution in Lafarge Africa is cement, ready mix, and aggregates. When we approach a client in doing business, and how do we thrive in Nigeria? We thrive in Nigeria by doing a proper assessment of what our customers' needs are. If we can extract out of our customers what they want their project to do, what do you want? What are the properties you want, sir, when designing a water retaining structures? You gentlemen and ladies in the audience are involved in that process on the mechanical side. What does the civil engineer need to do to ensure that your mechanics stands the test of time? Your biggest challenges in this market in Nigeria is the ingress of sulfates and chlorides. That is what destroys your infrastructure as far as your key components are concerned. So let's protect them. I know we design them accordingly and we need to then just action them. So that's the importance. We can offer an entire solution, cement, ready mix, and aggregates in Nigeria currently. I've run out of time. Our ready mix footprint quickly. We currently have 9 operational sites. We're in Ikoyi on VI. We're in Awikero in Ogun State, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and we have what we call a project plant in One. And we have 2 additional commercial sites coming up in Abuja and Port Harcourt in 2015. Quickly in closing, what I want to do is I just want to quickly cover the importance of the housing deficit in Nigeria, because it's something that's very close to all of our hearts. I'm just going to cover this slide and then I'm going to close because I'm 1 minute over. The business initiative of Lafarge obviously impacts all Nigerians. Our definition of affordable housing is housing for the people who do not have access to usual finance ways to a decent house. So in emerging countries, 4 billion people, base of the pyramid. Developed countries, 150 million people. Our objective, building new markets for Lafarge and improving housing conditions. The objective is to improve housing conditions for 2 million people by 2020. Since 2013, profitable initiatives have impacted 300,000 people. This is our contribution, an ambitious initiative to build 18 million housing gap. I always battle with the pronunciation, Irora, the first initiative launched in Ogun State. The kickoff was October 2013 in Ogun State. Major achievement, 1 billion naira invested for AFD in this scheme. 6,500 beneficiaries, 1,300 constructed so far. We have a target of 4,000 before the end of 2015. 2 million target globally by 2020, and expansion to all parts of the country gradually. 6 states covered today: Ogun, Oyo, Ondo, Edo, Lagos, and Cross Rivers. Okay. In closing, I'm just showing you some images as we go through, as I need to close. That's what happens. A lot of you will drive around, especially in the coastal regions. What you see there is the sulfates that attack your structures. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is, if you have a look at Lafarge, this is an illustration of our integrated infrastructure offer. Okay, we can cover everything. When we understand your need, we can cover everything from the ready mix, from roads, concrete roads, normal blacktop applications, mining, solar farms, construction of buildings, ready mix, cement, aggregates. We have the ability to serve the needs of Nigeria. In closing, Nigeria's economy remains hopeful despite the current challenges. Growth negative at 6% to 4% GDP between 2014 and 15. Lafarge Wholesome is committed to the enhanced development in Africa and Nigeria, and we encourage the great potentials in this country. Current political climate, a propensity for hope in the economic turnaround, and continue to contribute and provide solutions for Nigeria's infrastructure deficits. And the most important thing that I think I need to close with is Nigeria's strongest asset is its people. Thank you very much.